What is the missing link here in the village of Ein Kerem, which is Hebrew for spring of the vineyard? When we look at the lives of Elizabeth and Mary, whose names in Hebrew were Elisheva and Miriam, we come to an understanding of our roots that in fact these were two very godly Jewish women who gave birth to two wonderful Jewish boys that would change the course of history.
Jesus is a Jew. He was brought to the face of this earth by a Jewish woman. She was very much a Jewish lady, and Jesus was circumcised the 8th day. Mary went to the temple to be cleansed after 40 days, and we know the priestly class from which Joseph came. We also know the priestly class from which the father of Mary came, who also served in the temple. And of course Elizabeth, with the high priest as her husband, was also part of the family. So it was a very well-established Jewish family in that period of time.
From Mary's Spring, most roads go uphill. This one is protected by a rather hoarse guard dog. I think he has laryngitis. In the hills of Ein Kerem is a precious work known as St. Vincent's, a hospital care home for the severely handicapped children. This is truly a work of care and compassion.
It's not a really hospital. We are a home for severe handicapped children. We have now actually 59 children from the age of 5 until 22. And their backgrounds are Jewish and Arabs and Muslims, Christian, and they come from all social and cultural backgrounds. Some of them of the Negev, some of them of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Ashdod, Ashkelon. So this is one of the kind of therapy that we can provide to the children. Of course, the main therapy is the physiotherapy. That's because some of the children are so spastic, they cannot move their legs and their hands and their arms, so they need a special therapist. But here in this jacuzzi, which gives in the same time fun, but also it's very optimal for therapy.
Maybe from a biblical context, it reminds us how John the Baptist was in Ein Kerem. But he didn't have a jacuzzi, did he?
Of course not.
A loving ministry for those who need care and compassion. Not only does Roots and Reflections educate us about the land of Israel, but seeks to bring us into a better understanding of the natural and spiritual restoration of its people. Throughout the land of Israel today, tens of thousands of people are in great need, both Jews and Arabs alike. In order to show you this need, we have a DVD which we would love to send you for free called Care and Compassion. Write to us now or call us and we will send it out in the mail as quickly as possible. Care and Compassion. These hills are alive with the sounds of legends, traditions, and history. Some say John's father is the same Zechariah who as high priest is mentioned by Jesus as the one murdered between the temple and the altar. According to the apocryphal New Testament, Proto-Evangelium, it was Herod who ordered Zacharias killed because he was protecting his infant son John when the king sought the death of all children under 2 years of age in Bethlehem and in all its districts.
And she was married to Zechariah, the high priest in the temple. He obviously was very much loved by the people, and he was slaughtered by Herod's soldiers for not giving away John and Elizabeth, his wife.
The apocryphal New Testament book of James describes the murder of Zacharias in the forecourt of the temple. But God miraculously protected Elizabeth and her infant son John in the hills above Ein Kerem. Let us read here where it says, "But Elizabeth, when she heard that they sought for John, took him and went up into the hill country and looked about where she should hide him. And there was no hiding place. And Elizabeth groaned and said with a loud voice, O mountain of God, receive thou mother with a child. And immediately the mountain clave asunder and took her in. The two were concealed by the mountain. For as long as Herod's soldiers sought their destruction, Yeshua found refuge in Egypt with his mother and Joseph. John found it here under these rocks.
These are the stories we know about them. Again, here I think we have a very courageous woman, faithful to the Lord and not giving in to the political circumstances of the time.
Investigating these stories and traditions has made me hungry, so let's go back to Mary Spring and look for a typical Middle Eastern culinary treat to satisfy the palate. Let's try a Middle Eastern specialty drink called sakhlav, and this is one of the best places I know to get it, right here in Ein Kerem. Let's go find out what it's made of. But what's in it?
It's made of milk, rose water, and sugar, and corn flour, coconut, cinnamon.
So we have all in here, coconut.
No, you don't have here.
You're going to add it.
You're going to add to it.
So what does the rose water do?
This is a good smell.
A good smell?
Yes.
Do we taste it?
You can taste this.
Okay, so I'm gonna have 2 sakhlav, and it looks and smells wonderful. One for me, and of course, one for you. We've got to give this sakhlav a try. Let's try it. This is the best. You've got to come to the health center on the corner by Mary's Well in Ein Kerem. The mountainous area around Ein Kerem is the most forested in all Israel, with pine, cypress, terebinth, oak, almond, and hawthorn. One native tree, the carob, is associated with John the Baptist, known as St. John's bread or locust fruit. The carob pod is dried and in powder form is a cocoa substitute. Right in the heart of Ein Kerem, sitting under a carob tree, some scholars believe that actually John the Baptist, when it refers to him eating wild locusts and honey, ate the carob. Now, that was a food that was normally associated with those of a poor means of living. But today in health food stores, we know that carob was actually a very, very healthy food. And that is what is thought that John the Baptist ate. Now, the carob seed was uniform in both size and weight. In ancient times, this was actually used as a measure of weight for such things as precious gems. Therefore, that's where we get 1 carat with 1 carob seed. Ladies, carobs are a girl's best friend. Kitty, what do you think about the carob? I think he says it's strictly for the alley cats. Roots and Reflections is a program created to bring you the Bible, culture, and education from Israel. It is our desire to build you up in your faith, to bring you hope both now and in the future, and to share God's love with all of you. Call the number on your screen and partner with us as we seek to share the good news from Jerusalem to the ends of the earth.